Savvy Blondes. I'm Ash.
And I'm Caitlin.
And today on our channel we have a very special guest, Braylon Smith. She is here today to talk to us about money.
Woo!
Yes, girl. So the last couple episodes that we have done, we've been talking about starting a business and how a lot of us as millennials are struggling to make a living just on one job. And so a lot of us have a couple of different streams of revenue that we're just trying to, make ends meet, have enough money to, buy our weed and do what we need to do. And so one of the big things that we really wanted to touch on this channel is budgeting. And I think, money can be really kind of a taboo topic for a lot of people. It can be a really intimidating and scary topic. And so per the usual, we want to kind of try and take the stigma out of that. Are you paying attention? You're eating a muffin.
I'm paying attention.
I'm like referring to you and you're just like, muffin. My love. Anyway, so we're going to be talking today about money, hopefully removing some of the stigma that you may or may not be feeling around it. So we're going to go ahead and throw it over to Braylon, and she's going to kind of introduce herself and what she's here to talk about today.
Yeah, so my name is Braylon. I'm the director of Thrive Co-working, if you're familiar with us. I am 26, just turned 26 years old. Woohoo! I went to the University of Arizona for college, and yeah, that's pretty much my background. To preface a little bit, I just want to say, I'm not an expert on budgeting. I just learned how to do this maybe 6 months ago, so I just want to let you know it's easy, it's not overwhelming, and doing a budget will actually make you have way less headache. Once you have it in place, you don't have to think about money, you know what you have, what you can spend. It's just like a huge weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going to jump in. What I'm going to be using is my boyfriend's and our real budget, showing you our money and how much we make and what we spend and everything, because I don't care at all, and it's just easier than making a fake one. So
right.
Hopefully you'll be able to see the screen here, and I'll show you what I'm doing, so then when they have the screen up, I don't know if
Yeah,
I'll put that up.
totally. So we're gonna throw these graphics up here on the video for you, so that as she's talking, you'll be able to kind of see what she's talking about, what she's referring to, the numbers, all that. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm a super visual person, so
me
just
too.
hearing about numbers does nothing
Oh,
for me.
no, it's like, what? I'm just in one ear out the other, yeah.
Right.
So the first thing that you'll want to do is figure out what platform you want to use. I honestly just use a Google Sheet because it's easy. I can log into it from my phone. I can log into it at home, at work, wherever.
And it's free.
And it's free.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, which is great. So you'll want to make one sheet on there that is essentially, you're going to list out all of your bills. And the way you'll categorize it is by fixed and not fixed. So any fixed bill is something that's going to be the same every month. So your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, your car insurance, your health insurance. And it's a good idea to go ahead and just, even if you want to start by writing it down, list out everything that you have to pay. Your student loans, whatever it is, all your subscriptions, your Netflix, your Hulu, your Spotify.
Do utilities
List it all
fall
out.
under that?
Utilities, I put under not fixed, just because they're varied, and I don't know, it might be different for you. I own a house, so I am paying all my actual utilities, where if you rent, you might have a flat fee, then it would be under fixed.
Okay.
Just anything that's going to be different month to month, I put under not fixed, so that it's like a little bit varied.
Okay.
And it's really important, this is why I say it sometimes takes a while to list out everything, because oftentimes I would go and make my budget, and then a day later I'd be like, oh fuck, I forgot about this, and shit, oh, I have this too. So sometimes it takes a while to get everything that you can think of that you pay for. And then once you have those done, you'll want to put in all the amounts as best as you can. I always, number one thing about budgeting is overestimate always on what you think that things are going to cost. And we'll go into that a bit later, why that's important. So once you have that, you'll have all your fixed budget, you'll have all your not fixed laid out and all the amounts. Add it all up and figure out what the total for that is. For my boyfriend and I, it is about $4,100 a month is all of our expenses, our loans, our insurance, everything, our credit card payments, all together. Put that at the bottom, the amount that it totals. On the next sheet, you'll have your year budget, and this is where you'll track it. So you'll put everything in here, same way you have it on your budget, but instead of putting in the projected amount, each month you'll put in the actual amount. So I have it set up where I have January through December as columns, And then in each column, when I pay the bill each month, I just put in there what the amount was. So you can go through then later and say, oh, in January of last year, what was our electric bill? Oh, it was this much.
I'm learning so much.
Right? I'm just like, oh,
it helps you project, and this will make a lot of sense once you can see it.
Yeah.
And so then I put in spots for groceries each week, so that we know how much they are each week, dog food, gas, and I do include things like make sure you budget. If you smoke weed, put your weed in your budget. I vape too. All my vape stuff in my budget. Everything that I could possibly know I'm gonna be spending on a recurring basis goes in your budget.
And even, I feel like even if you're not spending it on a recurrent basis, like being able, it's kind of almost like, you know, the Marie Kondo show where she has you pull everything out of your closet and lay it all out there. And a lot of times you're kind of looking and like, I don't need all this stuff, you know, like this probably does the same thing, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Okay.
You'll see like, oh my god, I'm spending how much on Starbucks every
Right.
week? Like, whoa.
That is literally what I was going to say.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, how much should I spend on Dutch Bros?
Caitlin and
Probably
I are like
enough to
coffee
fund
budget.
them.
Shoot.
Yeah, which is fine. You know, if you know you like to go
Right.
to Dutch Bros every day, put it in your budget. Allocate $5 every 2 days that you want to go get your Dutch Bros. That's totally fine.
Right.
Whatever you want to spend it on, is
Dutch
totally
Bros
up
sponsor me.
totally
Right.
up to you.
We need sponsors, Dutch Bros.
Yes, Dutch Bros.
Um,
Another thing that is good to put in your budget, if you have any bills that are annual, so maybe you pay your car insurance every 6 months and it's a huge lump sum, or for me, I pay my PlayStation membership once a year. Figure out how much that is and divide it by 12 and save that much each month. So for instance, say you want to get your hair done every 6 months and it costs you $200. That's $400 a year. Divide that by 12 is, I'm really bad at math.
like $30, right?
$30 a month. Save that each month. Then you know every 6 months you can go and get your hair done, and you don't have to worry about it or freak out or put it on a credit card, which is we'll go into that a bit later.
That's my
Right.
issue.
Yeah. That's I would say definitely a good way to make sure that if you have those occasional lump sum bills that they're still accounted for. You're just setting money aside each month for whatever that is. I would say is the best way to
That's
do
so
that.
smart. My husband and I did that this last year for Christmas because
Yep.
we found that in years past, we'd get to Christmas and it'd be like, we were like, okay, so everybody's getting like homemade cookies and hot cocoa
Yeah.
for Christmas, because you get there and you think, well, I forgot to like budget this in. So
Yeah.
we literally started like January 1.
Yep.
Like just feeding money into a Christmas budget. And we were still like, last year was the first year we did it, so we still like didn't quite have enough.
Well,
But
now you
it
know.
helped,
Yeah.
you know, and now we know, okay, like this year we're gonna double it. We're gonna put, you know, I think we put $40 every time we get paid into Christmas, and
Yeah.
that's, you know, it'll be a little over four grand, I think,
Yeah.
by the time.
You have like 4 kids though, right?
I have like 4 kids, and
And a
so
big
many
old
family
Yeah.
members,
Yeah.
so it's like we gotta save some cash. So
Yeah.
that's so smart. I love that.
Yeah. So once you have your budget and you have your spreadsheet, the best thing you'll want to do, and this kind of depends on your job and the way you work and how you get paid, but you'll want to figure out a way to allocate it. So me personally, my boyfriend and I, we have 4 different accounts. We each have our own personal checking. I guess we have 6. We each have our own personal savings, and then we have a joint checking and a joint savings. So the way we do it is, the way we get paid, we can go online and like put in different accounts. So my paycheck gets split between 4 different accounts. All of our bills money goes into our joint account. All of our savings money goes into our joint savings and personal savings, and then that makes it really easy because whatever's left in my checking each month is the only money that I can spend. So it's really important. I feel like it's really hard as a millennial. Like people are going out, they're doing things all the time. You don't want to be like, I can't go because I don't have money, and that's when credit cards come in, and you're like, it's fine, I'll just put the Uber on my card.
Treat yourself.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
So that definitely can be helpful with that because if you just put your credit cards away and you know, like I have my $200 that's mine every month, that's what I get to spend, you can't overspend. Because that's one of the biggest things I see with even myself and my friends. We all have so much credit card debt on top of my student loan debt. And the years my boyfriend and I were living with my parents, we had like almost no expenses, and we did this for like a year. And we were making, between the two of us, we make like $75,000. We got into credit card debt, living with my parents, just because we were not budgeting, we were not tracking it, and we were just spending money. And then like, oh, we want to go to a concert. Well, I'm just going to put it on the credit card. Or, oh, we have to fly somewhere. I'm just going to put it on the credit card. So having a budget really helps you, because if you're just spending money all over the place, even if you're making a lot of money, you're still going to end up with problems.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So it's interesting that you're bringing this kind of perspective to it, because we're each kind of in different life stages, if you will, as far as our budgeting goes. Caitlin, you're single, so you're not, really getting money from anyone else, but you're also not having to give money to anyone else. So everything you make is yours to budget and to do by yourself. There's not really, you don't have to be accountable to anyone,
Right, yeah.
And
It makes it easier on you, honestly,
Yeah.
because you don't, instead of making a budget and having to go over it with someone else, you can just
Right.
say, this is my budget. If I want to spend $50 on Dutch Bros every 2 weeks, that's what I'm
like,
going to do,
so
because
be
I
it.
want
I'm
to.
the boss. Yeah, right.
Exactly. So
Right.
that,
Yeah.
it really is so helpful because it just lets you know, here's what you have to spend.
Mhm.
I don't know if you've seen those little apps where you can like text it and say like, hey, I want to buy shoes. Do I have money?
Yes.
This is like that, but doing it yourself, and I think
You don't
it's a
have
lot
to text
easier.
an app.
You don't have to text an app. You just know, oh, there's $50 on my checking. Guess I have $50 until I get paid next.
Love it. See,
how it
I
works.
kind of do something similar to this, but with cash. And I have like a
the
fishbowl
envelope-
that I put
the
cash
envelope
into.
method. Yeah, that works great as well.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
know,
it's like Dave Ramsey.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, that's definitely a really great method
Did
as
you
well.
guys do FPU,
No, what's
Financial
that?
Peace University? It's like his class.
Oh, no,
Oh,
I
no,
didn't.
I didn't.
No.
You're
I
right.
have just
I
read
did.
so much on, honestly, if you're looking for like a database that has amazing stuff on budget,
Mhm.
Reddit, personal finance
Yes.
subreddit is amazing. Those people
Love.
are so smart.
Mhm.
You can search through and find your answers to anything. If you're like, I need to pay off my credit card debt and what's the best way, there's anything that you want is on there. So I
Yeah.
use that to help me come up with this because like most people, my parents were like, I'm not going to help you. Figure it out.
Like, this is your own fault. You got yourself in this
Exactly.
situation.
Right.
Get yourself out
Get
of it.
yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And I think, the comforting thing for me anyways, like math has never been my strong
Oh, me either. I'm
like,
horrible
strong
at math.
suit at all. Like
Mm-mm.
I don't
like
love
math.
it. Weirdo. We don't love it, right? Yeah. Weird. But it's so comforting to know that this is manageable completely without having to have like a strong math background or
Oh, no.
having to have a
Yeah.
degree in finance or anything like that. Like you can make a budget at home, you can stick to a budget, you can be in charge of your finances. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the big things that Dave Ramsey preaches on is really, he
wanna be in
drives it
charge.
home. Like
Yeah.
you own your money doesn't own you.
Yeah.
And you make your money work for you instead of you having to constantly
Exactly.
be controlled by it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's really awesome. The best thing about having a budget is you just, so you
Mhm.
know, can I go on this trip? Can I afford these new shoes? Can I do this? Can I do this? You know in confidence, yes you can or no you can't.
Mhm.
And if you can't, you probably shouldn't buy it.
Right.
But it just helps you feel so much more relaxed when you know what's going on. And you don't have to think about it as much. And I feel like it's people, definitely me, I had like such a mental wall up
Mhm.
about budgeting. I'm like, it's hard, it's complicated, I don't want to do it, I'd rather just keep going the way that I am and, kind of flying by the seat of my pants. But if you just sit down and take, like I'm telling you, like 30 minutes, make your budget, get it done. You don't necessarily have to track it if you want to, but at least if you have a budget and here's all my monthly expenses and here's my monthly income, it'll give you so much of a better idea of your overall finances, and reduces quite a lot of stress.
So how often do you update this? So you create the initial spreadsheet, you put your yearly expenses in, you break it down year, month,
Mhm.
week if you want to, I guess. And then as you spend, do you go in there and you put under each
I do.
budget line?
Yeah, so in my like 2019 budget tracker,
Mhm.
I have January and then the date, February date. So I'll go in and whenever I pay any of my bills or buy groceries or buy gas, I put the date and I put how much. So I have like 4 rows for groceries because of 4 times a month.
Mhm.
I have about 3 for gas, 3 for dog food, so that every time I buy something, I go into my spreadsheet and put it in there. Because then at the end of the month, you can put what your projected bills were supposed to be and then your total, what it actually was. And if you have extra, so say my projected bill was supposed to be like $4,200 for the month, all my bills, everything, but I actually was at $3,800. I know I have that $400 excess. I personally then put that into my savings. I
Mhm.
leave it.
Yeah.
So then, if you're like me and you own a house, you come home. This happened to me like 2 weeks ago, and my dog had broken a window, and I was like, "Great, this is unfortunate." But
Right.
because we had that extra surplus in there, instead of spending that extra, it builds like a really easy, nice little cushion savings.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
why
awesome.
that's why I've never touched on this again. It's really important that you overestimate on your bills.
Mhm.
So I always overestimate by, I don't know, 10% more than what I think it's actually going to cost. So our groceries cost us roughly $125 a week. I always put $150 we save for it. Because then it does create that any excess that you have is a nice cushion savings that you didn't even, it's not like you're missing it because it went into your bills section already to begin with.
Okay.
So that's been really helpful because it's really difficult to save, I think, for people.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yes.
that's something I don't do right now. We don't set aside a certain amount for savings just because we've got credit cards and student loans and everything. So at a time in our life right now, we can't be saving as much as we would want to. That's an easy way to make sure you have some cushion if anything happens. Your car breaks down. I don't know, your credit card APR goes way up 1 month or something and you have to pay a higher payment. It does help to overestimate because then you get that extra cushion at the end of the month.
So do you overestimate for your fixed expenses as well?
I do. Well, just
Okay.
my utilities, I
Okay.
overestimate on them because
Those fluctuate.
it's really difficult to tell what it's going to be. And
Especially in Arizona.
yeah,
Right.
yep.
Oh my
Air
gosh.
conditioning.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Yeah, your summer months are going to be way higher than your winter months and vice versa. So,
Yeah, that's like what my parents do. So they set their budget for air conditioning and all of that fun stuff as their summer budget. So like
yep.
Oh,
during
yeah.
winter, they're saving all
Yeah.
of this money because it's not $600 to cool their house down in
Yeah.
winter. It's only
Yep.
like $200.
Yeah, that's really smart. A really smart thing to do because then you have that extra money. You're acting like it's you have
Right.
to pay it anyway.
Yeah.
So let's say one of our viewers is in a situation that you were in
Mhm.
a year ago or whatever, right? You're living with your parents, you've got a decent income, not a ton of overhead really, but
Yeah.
you have a lot of debt.
Yeah.
How do you go from, okay, I've got, maybe $50,000 in debt
Mhm.
and I'm making a decent amount of money, but how do I start paying that off? Like, what's the next step? So
That's going to be where you're going to need to sort of constrict a little bit and figure out where you can cut certain things out. So creating a budget will help you realize here's everything that I'm spending and all my your bills, expenses, student loan payments, credit card payments, add all that up. Hopefully, if you're living at home and you're not paying rent and you're making a decent income, you should be getting a decent amount of cash every month or so. Budget, get it down, know what here's all my credit card payments, my student loans, my expenses, and then really, really constrict yourself. So I would say if you have to only give yourself a certain amount of money in your checking account, like maybe it's $100 every month or whatever it may be, and just don't spend the rest. That I feel is one of the hardest things as a millennial. When my boyfriend and I saved up for our house, we lived with my parents, we saved about $15,000 in 3 months. Because
that's awesome.
we cut back on everything. So it's possible, and it's really funny now after we did that for 3 months and I wasn't spending any money at all. Like I'm talking, I would go 2 weeks without using my debit card once. Like buying gas and groceries and stuff, obviously, but not any other expenses whatsoever. It really shows you how much we buy stuff, and you don't realize it. Like all my friends are constantly like, I'm broke, but then like Amazon packages keep coming to their house, and I'm like, are you really?
My life.
Because we keep buying stuff, and
Right.
so the hardest thing if you have debts is just stop buying shit. Just stop buying shit. Don't buy anything. That's really the best advice I can give is that it's hard and it is definitely an adjustment period. But if there's certain things that you like and you need to pay off your debts. Like if you love Starbucks chai lattes, go to the store, go to the grocery store and buy it and make it at home.
Yeah.
Like it's really just you just stop buying shit.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that another like trap that millennials fall into is like they pay the minimum payments on everything.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, like you want to like triple that. Like
Yeah.
that's what I do with my credit card. Like my minimum payment I think is like $37 a
Yeah.
month. And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, if you're trying to pay off your credit cards, I would say like allocate whichever one has the highest interest. Go for that one first and just chunk it off. Every paycheck, put $500, as much as you can, however much. Anything more than the minimum will help. And then in the future, when you are using credit cards, this is what I do now, pay it off right away.
Yes.
Don't let it sit there because it would just really hard. But just think of it like a debit card, and when you go buy something at the store, like go home or on your phone 10 minutes later and pay it off from your debit account. Because otherwise, it's. I mean, I personally have like 10 grand credit card debt between my boyfriend and I. It's just too easy to rack up.
Oh yeah.
And especially when your payment is like $35 a month, but then the next thing your lovely starter APR interest rate goes away after like 2 years, and then your minimum payment is $250 a month, and way more difficult to attempt to pay off.
Exactly, and like our parents, like especially my parents, like I don't know about yours, but we're around the same age, and like my parents were like, you need to get a credit card, like you need to start building credit.
That's true. You should have one, yeah.
And like I was like, I don't
But they
want
didn't
one.
tell you.
Yeah,
they
they
probably
didn't
didn't
tell
tell
me
you like
anything.
how dangerous
Yeah.
or how easy
And
it is.
I was
to
like, Mom,
blow.
I'm leaving it at home. Like, I'm not going to bring it anywhere. And
Yeah.
she'd be like, no, like, you're going to go get gas. So, like, bring your credit card, put your gas on it, and pay it off. And I'd
Yeah.
be like, okay. And then I'd forget.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next month would come, and I'd be like, oh my God, like, I put all my gas on this, and, like, I don't know what to do.
You don't have any money, I can't
I
pay it
don't know
off.
what to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, it became, like, a very love-hate relationship. Luckily, my credit card only had $1,000 on it, and every
That-
time I hit, like, $800, I was like, oh no!
Yeah, that I highly recommend getting a credit card with a low limit, and you can
Yes.
ask them. You can say, I only want $1,000 limit on this card,
Yeah.
especially if you just go to like whoever you bank with instead of
Yes.
applying online.
That's what I did.
They'll give you a credit card for sure, and just say, you know what, I want a really small limit. Because like my problem was I have an American Express that has a $10,000 limit.
Ooh.
It screwed me so
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
I like put car repairs on there, like
Yeah.
plane tickets, just like, and before you know it, it's totally out of control.
Right.
So yeah, definitely avoid doing that.
Yes.
If you get a credit card, do it. She said, and just put something on it each month or week and pay it off right afterwards.
Like your groceries.
Yeah,
Those are
pick
great.
something.
Allocate the money for them.
Yes.
And then like transfer it over on those handy dandy apps
Right.
that we have now.
Yeah.
And put a reminder to do it on your phone.
Oh,
so
yes.
that there's no excuses for forgetting, because
Yeah.
really, I mean, there's no worse feeling than, you know, the end of the month comes and you get that credit card bill and you think, oh, it's probably like $45, and then you're
It's like
looking and it's like
400. Yeah.
4,000.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
it's like-
yeah.
and you're just like, what did I buy? And then you start looking and you're like, it was fraud, and then you're like, no, it was me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but so I wonder then what the hang up millennials have then with money. Like, why
think
are we
it's-
so afraid to talk about it? Why is it such like a, I don't want to know, I don't want to see, I don't want to deal, I don't want to.
Me.
I think we have that kind of with a lot of things. I know
Mhm.
personally, me with my exercise journey, I was like so afraid to start going to the gym. Like it took me probably a year before I like started doing anything. Like a year just thinking about it. Like I'm gonna do this one day, I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. And then finally I was able to break down those mental walls over that year and be like, oh, this isn't so hard. Oh, actually, this is really easy. Why was I not doing this before? It's like really frustrating. And I think we kind of have that with a lot of different things,
Yeah.
especially because if you start, I would love to hear from people who started a budget and then realized, oh, this is way easier than I thought. Because that was me. I told my dad, like we talked about it, I was like, I'm not making a spreadsheet. I hate spreadsheets. I don't want to do this. This is horrible. Like, and then it took me like 30 minutes and I was done and I was like, wow,
That wasn't so
like, that wasn't terrible at all. And it's just like the peace of mind you get knowing, like, I don't know about you, but before I would always like, just, I had no idea how much money I had and what I needed to have and when bills were coming in, and it was always just kind of like me just figuring out a way to do it, but always being stressed about it. And having a budget, it just like takes away all the stress. You're like,
Right.
oh, I know I can buy that. I've got money.
Right, you're not like waiting, going, is it approved? Is it approved?
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
approved.
yeah. You're not like
And
checking,
yes!
checking your bank
Right.
account in line before you buy your thing on your phone. You're like, do I
Yes.
have $5 to buy this coffee?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like we go out to Mill, you know,
Yeah.
Old Town, whatever, and like those drinks are like astronomically
Expensive,
expensive.
yeah.
It's like $17 in Old Town for like 2 drinks,
No,
and then you
thank
have to
you.
tip because then the girls won't serve you if you don't tip.
Yeah.
And so then you're like sitting in line, like, oh my god, like, did I get paid? Like, do I have enough money to tip them well
Yeah.
enough? Like,
Yeah.
That's so, I skipped that because, I mean, I think I went out some when I was like 21, 22, but I was still having babies, so it was like
Oh,
not
yeah.
cute for like a pregnant lady to be out on Mill drinking, so I didn't do that so much.
yes.
But that's you know,
I
that's
didn't
the
do it
other
either,
thing.
but I
Yeah.
also don't have babies.
I have a dog.
Right, I have a dog. I've had my dog.
She's too big
Yeah.
for me to bring out to Mill because I can't put her in my purse.
Oh,
right.
that would be fun.
I wish I could bring her purse out.
Yeah, another thing that's really nice about having a budget where you're tracking your expenses is that since you put the date that everything is due in there, if I log in and say it's like, what's today? The 24th, for instance, I can see that last month my Amex was due on the 28th. So it kind of is like a reminder for you when stuff is due as well. And you can set calendar reminders.
Yeah.
I personally don't. I just know what bills are due at the beginning of the month and what bills are due at the end of the month and just pay them like that. But it does kind of help you to keep stuff on your radar, especially like auto subscriptions. If you look on your bank statements and see what day they come out and put that in there, you can know, oh shit, every month on the 15th my Hulu comes out. It's $8.
Right.
And so you know you're prepared
You know it's
for
coming.
it. Yeah, you know it's coming.
Which the Hulu basic plan is going down by 15%.
Oh, woohoo!
Yes.
Except then you have to watch stupid commercials. I
Right.
never understand. I would pay for the service
Right?
to watch commercials. I hate
Right.
it.
But then you could pay for the service.
I
where
know.
you
I'm
go.
too cheap to do that.
I know, same.
I'm like, it's
But
so
Netflix's
ridiculous.
subscriptions are going up.
I know. Luckily, I'm still on my parents' Netflix. Another thing that's obviously we as millennials, and this doesn't speak for everybody, but most people, I think anyways, have their parents helping them out with something.
Mhm.
Whether that's they're still paying your phone bill, or for like me, they pay my student loan payments every month. Or maybe they pay your health insurance or your car insurance. My word of advice is try to milk that as long as you can, whatever it is, because it's even if it's like, oh, my mom pays my Hulu and that's $7 a month. You know, like I'm on my parents' Netflix. Definitely don't go to your parents and be like, I have a job now, and you can stop paying for my phone. Just because I just milk your parents as much as you can is my advice.
And give
Milk
them love.
Give them
While
love.
you're
Oh
milking
yeah,
them.
take them out to dinner. You know,
Yes.
the whole 9 yards. But
sure.
definitely love them and appreciate them for anything they give you, whatever it is, because that's something you don't have to put in your budget.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Absolutely. And I think, as we continue to move forward talking about money, it's okay, I think, to tell your friends sometimes, I can't afford to go out.
Oh
and
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think there also is no shame in going out and just doing chips and water.
Yeah.
Like if hanging out with your friends is that important to you and you really want to spend quality time
Yeah.
with people, give yourself $5.
Yeah. Take cash.
Go do chips and order water with lemon,
Mhm.
and that's just where you're at right now.
Totally.
And
Yep. And that
Yeah.
if you have good friends, they shouldn't.
they should understand.
They shouldn't care.
And
Yeah.
most of I have friends where we'll go out with our friends who have quite a bit more money than we do, whether that's they're in their career or whatever,
Mhm.
and we'll just split
Yeah.
whatever we get. So then you
Yeah.
literally are we'll go out to Mexican food and get a quesadilla and split it between the two of us,
Yeah.
and get a margarita and split it between the two of
Yeah.
us.
No shame.
Yeah, no
and
shame.
there's ways to do things cheap.
Right, and
Yeah.
if you're worried that your friends are gonna judge you or whatever for it, it's just oh well, we're not that hungry, or we don't need to eat a whole quesadilla, so why have
you can always
leftovers?
just lie and say it's not because I'm broke, it's because I
if you're really
I'm
worried.
trying to cut back on
Yeah.
how many quesadillas I eat a week.
I'm super
That is
honest.
true.
I with my friends, and we have a really good group of friends, I'm like, you know what, I'm paying off my credit cards, I don't have money,
Yeah.
you guys can go to that concert and have fun, but I don't have the $25 to spare, and sometimes your friends will be like, you know what, I'll buy your ticket.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good right now,
Mhm.
I had a good month or whatever,
Right.
so yeah, just be honest with your friends, because if they're really
Absolutely.
true friends, they shouldn't have
They
a
shouldn't
problem.
care.
They'll
Yeah.
understand, and
Yeah.
and then it gives you the opportunity too when you do have a good month to pay it forward. So when
Yeah,
you're
totally.
when you're being honest and authentic with your friends and just saying look, this month was rough, and I'm really trying to pay off this bill, or
Yeah.
I've got my student loans just got hiked up again, and I have to continue paying this off. I really can't afford to go out, and someone's like, hey, that's cool, I got you tonight, no problem.
Exactly.
Then that's what kind of friendship you have, but then
Right.
that also gives you such good karma to put back into the
Oh,
world
totally.
and say
Yeah.
next time I got it, I appreciate it. And I feel like the more we continue to be open and honest
Oh,
and
yeah,
authentic
totally.
about our relationships with money, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot this is a really loose
Analogy.
but it's a lot the conversations around sex and body image in this
Yeah.
in our country.
Yeah, we're getting better.
We're
Yes,
getting
we
better at it,
are.
but for such a long time it was this hush,
Taboo.
taboo
Yeah,
topic.
don't talk
Nobody
about it.
talked about it, and so there was all this stuff that happened in secret and all this, and it was do you do this, or does this happen with you, or
Yeah.
but it's
Cosmo magazine made their
Right,
money
exactly.
being is this is what you should be
Right.
doing in the bedroom, and people are
Yeah.
like, oh shit,
Oh,
what?
right?
Yeah.
I had no idea. So it's when you bring that stuff out, you shine a light on those dark areas of your life that people are afraid to talk about.
Yeah.
It really does help you transform your whole attitude towards money. And I think, it's hard too, because I think as Zennials and Millennials, we kind of grew up in the 90s where there was this era of excess.
Oh, yeah.
And our parents were buying huge ass houses and driving huge SUVs, and
Yeah.
we had these extravagant birthdays and Christmases and all these things because for a lot of people our parents could afford that during the 90s. And then it kind of set us up for this expectation.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
When
I
you
think where
left
it all
home.
comes from. I
Right.
remember leaving college.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, even before that, I remember I visited my sister's first apartment in Tempe when I was probably like 15 or 14, and she was a sophomore in college, and I was like, this is the most disgusting place I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, how are you gonna live here? This is so gross. Like, I was like, what? But then you just get so used to it, and then you
Yeah.
go out into the world, and you're thinking in your head, like, I can live at the same echelon that my parents did,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh,
Mhm.
fuck no.
Right. It
Like-
took them 20, 30
Yeah,
years to
but
get
we
to that
all in
point.
our heads are like, I'm gonna leave my
Yeah.
house and have all the same things. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be able to afford all the stuff my parents can, and that's
Right.
such a harsh
It's a
reality.
myth.
Yeah, that
It
is a
is.
myth.
It's a
yes.
big old myth.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Instagram doesn't help with that.
Oh, no.
Because, all of our friends are posting with all their designer handbags, half of which are fake, by the way. And
Or
you
like
know,
the Airbnbs that they rent and are like,
Right.
oh my gosh, look at this apartment. And they don't say my apartment, they say this apartment. But
Yeah.
you instantaneously are like, oh my
Wish
god,
I
they
had
have
that
that
apartment.
apartment.
Right?
Yeah,
Like the
my
whole-
house doesn't look
But
that
like there
nice.
was that article, I think it's called Realist, and they posted it, and it was about people that are renting this $4,700 private jet to take pictures on. But like people are doing it in groups because it's a private jet. So then all these people are getting crazy Instagram photos, being like, oh my god, on a private jet, which like,
But they're
They
just
are,
sitting there on
but
the
they're not
runway.
going
Doing
anywhere.
doing
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like off to France. And
Yeah.
then they Photoshop themselves in front of the Eiffel Tower.
or
you
like
know?
they do go to France, but they're on an economy flight in the
Yeah.
budget
Yeah.
section, and like
They're
they're
making
doing
it look
their
like
thing.
their swagger.
Right, yeah.
And like if that's your prerogative,
Right.
whatever.
And right, like if that's
Like-
how you want to play, like that's totally fine. But you should know that the majority of people out there
Are regular.
are regular
Yes,
people
like,
Really
we can't do
normal.
that.
who
Yeah.
are checking their bank account before they buy the quesadilla. You
Yes.
know, like it's
Yes.
that's just
Chipotle,
how it
we're
is.
looking at you.
Yeah.
Right. And you gotta adjust your expectations so much. And I think, another really funny thing I read the other day, I think it was on Instagram, was when you look around you at all the things in your life, all the physical things in your life, that all used to be money. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at my closet and I'm looking at like the random tchotchkes in my house, or I'm looking at all these things, and I just keep thinking to myself, that's a $20 bill, that's a $50 bill, that's a $5 bill. Like it adds up.
Yeah,
And you're
it
just like,
is.
did
Yeah.
I really need that? And then I was going through my closet trying to be all Marie Kondo and purge my closet. I'm just like getting rid of stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, and I think this is helpful.
$100, $100,
Like,
$100.
thinking of, like, I'm throwing all this money away.
Yeah.
You know? And so it really helps put in perspective. Then every time you go to the store and you think, okay, so this top is $20. Like, am I actually gonna wear this, or do I really need this, or maybe not so much?
I have a great thing that I
Yeah.
do for that. When I buy something, I put it down to, I like it to be $1 per use. So if I spend $80 on a sweatshirt, I better sure as fuck gonna wear that sweatshirt 80 times.
I love
like
that.
And if you
Yeah.
can't, in your head, you're like, am I gonna wear this shirt 40 times? Don't buy it.
I wish I could do that
Oh
with
my
evening
gosh.
gowns.
I know,
yeah.
right?
Evening gowns, that might be different. That might
The
be
pageant
different.
queen is the
Yeah.
exception.
Yeah.
but,
You know,
Yeah.
like
Obviously
I
there's some
literally,
exceptions.
there's so many events that we have to buy things for, and I hate wearing the same thing like more than twice because
Yeah.
like people start to remember it, and so like I'll message people and be like, "What are you wearing to this event?" And they say evening gown, and I'm like, "Oh God, no!" And so like I'm like, "Okay, where can I get this from?" And I'll post on like all the resale groups, being like, "Do you have anything for under $100?" And they're like, $240, $300, $400. I'm like,
Yeah, and you're just
That
like,
might be an exception. But for a regular t-shirt, that helps me a lot. Or anything.
oh yeah.
yes.
Whatever it is that I'm buying, I'm like, am I going to use this so many times that it comes out to like $1 per use? And you can
Yes.
set that different if your prerogative, whatever you want to do.
Totally.
That just is what works for me because I'll look at a $40 sweatshirt and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna wear that 40 times. There's no way.
So smart.
So
I love
that's
that.
fair.
That's
Because yeah,
genius.
I feel like
I really like
our to bring it back, kind of our biggest problem is just that we overspend.
Yeah.
And if you can even take do like a little experiment. Take a week and don't buy anything. Like nothing. Don't eat out. Don't buy unless your necessities, gas,
Yeah,
whatever,
right,
groceries.
right.
But don't buy anything that is just for you,
No
and just see how you
clothes,
feel.
No Dutch Bros.
Yeah, no Dutch Bros, no
Make
Starbucks.
your coffee at home.
Make your coffee at home and just see how you feel, because if you do that enough, it totally
Sounds so
shifts your
scary.
mindset. It
No,
sounds
yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah.
But once you are in a mindset like me where you don't need to spend money on anything, it's so freeing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so nice. Yeah. And then anytime you do buy something, you're like, I really want this. It's, it's a good purchase. I'm not just buying this because I feel sad and I ate something shitty and now I want to go
Yeah.
buy clothes or whatever. It
I get
it
that
is
really.
is you're making conscious purchases.
I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, and even like, I don't know, I got my credit card or my like actual debit card stolen last year on Mill, and they made a purchase on it, but I got that money back. So, moral of the story, I didn't have that card for like a month while I was waiting for Bank of America to like send me a new one. And during that time, I spent nothing. Like my parents would be like, here's the gas money, like we're writing it down. So like when you get your card back and you have all this money on it, like you can pay us back.
Yeah.
And that was when like my transformation was spent and like went through. So like I would encourage
Like,
you like
whoa.
just hand your debit card to your parents and be like,
Or
only
somebody,
give this to
a friend,
or your friend, your boyfriend,
Go
whomever.
freeze it in a block of ice.
Freeze
put
it in a
in
block
your-
of ice.
Yeah, you know, do the Han
Do
Solo
something.
method, something like
Yeah,
that.
totally.
Is it Han Solo?
Unless you're like
Obi-Wan
me
Kenobi?
and you
Confessions
have
of a
it.
shopaholic.
You have it memorized.
Yeah. Oh, that's when it's dangerous too,
Yeah.
because you're online and you're like,
I don't even have to get up to get my wallet.
Yeah. It's like, I know my number. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah,
Braylon,
this
for
is so
coming
fun.
on. And we have a special trophy for you. This is
Woohoo!
your Congrats on Adulting trophy, as all of our
Yay.
guests get just for
I
being
love
on the
it.
show. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk about us. And it's been super helpful, I think, to you know, just talk about money and talk about budgeting and how we look at money and how that needs to change, honestly, in our generation, and how we need to get our spending under control because, you know, I mean, long term, if you look at it, we're not going to have anything for retirement. We're going to be broke old people, and
Helps
it's
the
not going to be
environment.
cute.
It does help the environment.
Absolutely.
Less consumerism.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a win-win all around. So, we are going to be chatting more about money in the coming weeks. So definitely stay tuned to our channel. We're going to have Erin call back to talk about money mindset. She's really going to help us kind of get on board with the spiritual side of money and how we're looking at it and how we can really do that hard work to change our mindset when it comes to money. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, keep checking us out on Instagram. We'll list those resources that we talked about for you on budgeting, money management, and everything in the description below. So make sure you check that out for those links. And we have put all of Braylon's budgeting information. So thank you for sharing all of that
thank you.
on the video
It's
as
real.
well. And lastly, we want to thank our amazing sponsors, Thrive Co-working here in Gilbert. They've been such great hosts, and we're so thankful to be able to work here and film here in their really amazing kitchen. Like, I'm dying over this blue tile. I want this in my house. But anyways, thank you so much, Thrive. Cheers
Thank
to
you.
you, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
That was so
Thanks guys so much for watching our channel, The Savvy Blondes. We'd love to thank our sponsors, Thrive Co-working for Women here in Gilbert. Thank you so much, Thrive. We're so excited and blessed to be a part of you and to be able to film here. So thanks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.